When I was 12 years old, I watched my favorite YouTuber do a draw my life video. After watching that video, I was inspired. I remember I told my 12-year-old self, one day when I'm a big YouTuber, I'm gonna do my own draw my life video for all of my fans. Well, today's the day I make my childhood dream come true. By the way, thank you all so much for 5 million subscribers. You have truly changed my life and I just can't thank you guys enough. So I have a special signed by me gift for you guys. I'm dropping custom posters. These actually look so cool and it tells the story on how I started off with 1 subscriber and a 1 block video, and in just 3 years eventually skyrocketed me to a crazy 5 million subs. With all of my most famous builds and videos drawn onto one world with tons of Easter eggs spread around. So if you're a true Cookie Army soldier and want to celebrate, this would be a perfect award to get yourself. And yes, I signed over 2,000 of these. So buy them while you can by clicking the link below. Anyways, this is my life. This little cookie crumb was born on May 30th, 2001. I wasn't actually that little. My mom said I was so big I came out round. So I guess the name Cookie matches me well. You guys all know me as aCookieGod, but my real name isn't that cool. It's actually very boring. My real name is Kevin. Yup, that's it. I once asked my mom how she came up with my name and she said it was the first word she saw after opening a book. Nice. That's nice. I grew up in a decently small city called Edmonton in Canada with my mom, dad, and brother who is 4 years older than I am. And contrary to popular belief because of my voice, I am not white, black, or a big brawly dude named Brad. I am actually Asian and quite small. Yup, I'm as yellow as the sun and the size of a bean. My mom and dad are originally from China and we grew up poor. My uncle came to Canada on a small boat that actually flipped over in the middle of the ocean because of how many people were on it. Luckily, he survived and made it to Canada. My uncle then worked very hard to fly my parents to Canada where they had me. Unfortunately though, both my parents had to leave their families behind to start a better life here. To be honest, I don't remember much as a baby, but there's a story my mom always tells me about our first house that we grew up in. She believed it was haunted by ghosts. One night she was cooking dinner in the kitchen and my brother, who was 4 years old at the time, started screaming that there was a ghost behind my mom. Suddenly, out of nowhere, my mom said my brother started getting choked out and became very pale. So she grabbed the closest knife that she can find and she started chopping up the air like Ramsay. Once she put the knife down, she said there was blood on it. I don't know if this story is true. She might have just accidentally sliced my brother, but there were also stories of things being dragged across the basement floor and other spooky things. Turns out that the previous owner of our house was actually murdered by the next door neighbor, and that neighbor's house was demolished. So yeah, we eventually got the hell out of there by the time I was 4 years old. My mom and dad did not know to speak English, so they were stuck working multiple jobs, cleaning hotel rooms, working in factories, and in Chinese restaurants. I rarely got to see my dad because he worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, even till this very day. So they didn't make a lot of money, meaning I didn't get to play any sports, go on any family trips, or even celebrate Christmas as a kid. My mom would just wrap up empty boxes as presents and put them under the tree so it felt like Christmas. We were always disappointed unboxing air. I also remember during Halloween, my brother and I would stare out the window all night watching kids get candy while waiting for our mom to return from work. She'd finally come home from work at 9 p.m. and we'd beg her to take us trick-or-treating, but unfortunately it was too late and she was exhausted. However, things weren't always so bad. When I was around 7 years old, my uncle would always bring home old computers from work. So my brother and I would spend all day playing random games on the internet. I was so glued onto my computer that my mom would take away my monitor and hide it. I would cry, but I always ended up finding it in her closet and continued gaming all night long. I'd just put it back before she waked up in the morning. Yeah, I was a pretty naughty kid. My mom put me in a Chinese elementary school, so all of my friends were little geniuses. Majority of them ended up going to university to become engineers, dentists, and nurses. I couldn't even get into university. The point is, I was the only certified dumbass who was a class clown and would never do my homework or pay attention to anything. I would mainly get C's on my report card and the only A I got was in gym class because all I had to do was show up. On top of my bad grades and terrible effort, I also didn't listen to my parents much, which led to my ass getting whooped. I remember my mom would grab clothes hangers out of the closet and beat me until they snapped in half. And she'd just pull another one right out of her back pockets. It felt like she had unlimited ammo. I remember my mom would open the door and literally try to drag me out of the house. I'd hold onto dear life, just gripping the couch as hard as I could so I don't get thrown out. I'm not gonna lie, this scarred me. I would go to bed those nights with my house keys tied around my hand just in case I woke up on the streets. This experience as a child came back to haunt me when I got older, leading to one of my most disappointing and saddest times of my life. But I'll get to that soon. Around the same time of all of this happening, my brother introduced me to a FPS game called Combat Arms. I remember absolutely destroying kids on that game. I was 8 years old. I was so good to the point where my brother showed me how to record my games and edit them. I would try to post these videos on YouTube, but our internet was so slow to the point where it was impossible. But there was one YouTuber out there already posting montages of this game. His name was aCookieGod, and this is where my name originated from. I luckily never really got bullied in my life, but in grade 5, a friend at the time pushed me down during recess and I ended up fracturing my collarbone, which put my arm in a cast for a while. I was devastated that I couldn't play combat arms anymore. But I had all my friends sign my cast and I thought I was so cool walking around with a moldy cheese smelling cast that I never ever washed. Once my arm healed, I actually became the bully. I was on my revenge arc after my combat arms professional career was ruined. I was friends with everybody in my class, but there were a few crybabies that would cry even if the grass was cut too short or something. Point is, they'd cry about anything. So I got fed up one day and I decided to make one kid cry every recess. Mission was successful, and I luckily never got in trouble because before they would tell the teacher, I'll just crack a joke and make them laugh so they forgot about the horrendous things I've just done to them. Comedy was my get out of jail free card. Don't worry, I'm still friends with these guys till this day. We're good. Maybe this energy impressed girls or something because I also had my first ever girlfriend when I was 11. All we ever did was sit beside each other on the bus, but yeah, all my friends thought I was so cool. I even dated a girl a grade above us, and that was when my life peaked in swagness. By the time I was 12 years old, my brother introduced me to a brand new game called Minecraft, and obviously I fell in love with it. I had to come up with a username, and I was so inspired by the YouTuber aCookieGod that I named my first Minecraft account a Sweet Cookie. I started playing this survival server called Empire Minecraft with my brother and a few cousins. However, I eventually got banned for X-raying. Classic. I was so addicted that I ran over to the nearest gas station to pick up a prepaid card so I can buy a new Minecraft account and play again. I had to come up with a new name and I loved cookies. I also didn't want to get caught for ban evading, so my cousins and I came up with a unique, unrelated name. We came up with aCookieGod, completely unrecognizable from a sweet cookie. I'll just say we weren't the smartest 12-year-olds. People on the server suspected that it was me and tried getting me banned again, but the mods didn't care, so that became my main account. I started to love building structures in Minecraft to where I'd build giant lobbies and maps for servers and get paid real money. That is when I upgraded my computer and started making my first YouTube videos on various servers from 2013 to around 2015. And this was when my dream of becoming a YouTuber started. In middle school, the second class ended, I'd run to catch the earliest bus so I can get home as fast as I could to play Minecraft all day. I was also very lucky that all of my friends from elementary also went to the same middle school as me, so I was never short on friends. The only problem was we were never in the same classes. They were all in the smart class called pre-AP, and I was in the normal classes, the dumb class. So I had to make new friends. Turns out one of those new friends was actually my neighbor that lived directly across the street from me. So we'd bus to school together, bike together, and hang out at each other's houses playing video games all day. It was so much fun. The only class I had with my day one friends was Chinese class. And you might be thinking, I must have matured as I've gotten older. Nope. I was still even more naughty and reckless. I remember I'd purposely pick fights and argue with our Chinese teacher just to argue. I talk back all the time and sometimes even yell at him for some entertainment. Now I see why I failed his class every single year. But my parents never knew. Remember how I told you my brother started teaching me how to edit and everything? Well, I learned how to use Photoshop, so before I showed my parents my report card, I would scan it, change my F to a respectful B-, and reprint it. Thinking back, that was genius of me, but please don't do this, kids. By this time, my parents kind of given up on me, it felt like. I wouldn't listen. I did terrible in school. They'd always get calls from the teacher talking about my bad behavior, and it felt like they were more proud of my brother. Anyways, once I turned 14, I started getting pimples, and not the normal kind. My face was a literal double pepperoni pizza. I had that bad genetic acne that my brother, mom, and dad all had. It was terrible. I still have acne scars till this very day on my face. But we went to the doctor and he put me on a medication called Accutane, which we were told was fairly dangerous, but we tried everything else and this was our last resort. It worked magic. My face cleared up instantly, but I had terrible side effects. My knees hurt, everything was dry, and the worst part, I was depressed. I never felt this way before, but I hated being home, so I stopped gaming altogether, and I just didn't want to talk to anybody. But that was when I met this girl. We'll call her A. She was beautiful. She was basically one of the only white girls in the school, so almost every guy had their eyes on her. But I somehow won the battle and we started hanging out whenever we could. She was in the smart class though, so I'd literally wake up at 6:45 in the morning every day to catch a bus at 7. I wouldn't brush my teeth or eat breakfast. I'd grab my bag and run to the bus just so I can have as much time with her as possible before class started. I also found out that she would stay after school for an hour waiting to get picked up by her dad, so I stayed after school as well instead of busing home right after class because I was in love. We'd flirt in the park and we'd even call each other on the phone every night. It was amazing. Since I started staying after school, I also reunited with one of my best friends from elementary. We sort of drifted apart after being separated into different classes, but he got me into playing basketball. This was my first ever sport or hobby outside of gaming and I loved it. Shooting a round orange ball into a metal hoop in the middle of a beautiful summer day was just so calming to me. So after A got picked up, we would stay outside playing ball till the sunset. I remember we'd be so thirsty, so we'd walk to the grocery store every day and chug a gallon of pop. All of this cheered me up and lifted me out of my sadness, and I still believe that grade 9 or 2016 was my best year ever. Pretty unexpected, right? Eventually grade 9 came to an end and we were going into high school. I had two options: follow my older brother's path and all of my elementary friends to this one further away school, or go to a closer high school where A was going. I made the choice to leave all my friends that I met in kindergarten to go to the same school as this girl. I was so in love. We eventually started dating on the 24th of July. Oddly enough, I was also 1 day older than her. She was into DILFs. Maybe we were overthinking all of this, but she was born on 11 a.m. and I was born on 11 p.m., which made 11/11. We literally thought the stars aligned for us. Saying this kind of makes me cringe. But anyways, high school was a blur. It flew by so fast. I didn't game as much as I used to, but I still make YouTube videos on occasion and even real life videos at one point. Becoming a YouTuber was still my dream. I never got bullied in high school, but I never felt cool or popular. I didn't really fit in, it felt like. I'd mainly just hang out with my girlfriend all day and night. Eventually, I made a bunch of new friends through playing basketball after school, and that led me onto becoming friends with the popular guys on the sports teams. I remember we'd sneak into the gyms to play basketball and the gym teachers would get so mad at us. When we saw the teachers walking towards the gym, we'd bolt so fast out the exit doors. It was hilarious. And around this time, when I was 17, I was also diagnosed with ADHD, and that explains a lot about my life and my actions. You'll know what I mean soon. A was very school smart where I was not, so her dad did not really like me. One time he tried to run me over in his car, but I won't get into the details. Anyways, I really tried my best to improve my grades once I started dating her because I wanted to impress her. I eventually found my thing once I took a biology class, and that was the first 90% I've ever gotten. It was then when I realized I loved biology. I tried my best to finish high school with the highest grades so I could get into university, but this didn't work out though. I ended up skipping every morning class. Yep, nice. All right, here comes my sob story. Here we go. Once I turned 18 and graduated high school, A went on to become an engineer while I didn't get accepted into university. This damaged my relationship with my mom because she really wanted me to go to school like my brother. But I was a rebel. I didn't listen and I decided to take a gap year and just work a job. Also, with all of this extra free time, I really wanted to pursue my YouTube dream. Anyways, my mom got me a job at the factory she worked at, but it made the situation even worse because I hated working at the factory. So one day I called in and quit, even though my mom told me many times not to. Her boss was the one who let her know, and she was so disappointed in me. She said I'm never going to find a job. I didn't get into school. She called me a failure and told me I wouldn't become anything in my life. When she said this to me, in my ears I heard, "You'll never reach your dreams of becoming a YouTuber," because that was the only thing I could think of. This was when I snapped. With all of this built up anger in me, I got very impulsive and couldn't hold my emotions in any longer. I started throwing things in the kitchen, breaking stuff, knocking down chairs, and screaming at my mom. I was so angry, I couldn't even control myself. I already turned this into a terrible situation, but it gets worse. All of those memories of me getting beat as a kid, thrown out of the house, being left at the mall as a child, and the feeling of not being loved, I wanted revenge. It pains me so much to say this, and I never told anybody this other than my girlfriend at the time, but I grabbed a clothes hanger, ran upstairs, and hit her like how she hit me as a kid. I then pushed her onto the floor and gave her a big bruise. It was when I saw her laying on the floor when I realized I made a terrible mistake and had lost all complete control. My brother came storming out of the room and tackled me, and we got into a fist fight. Once we stopped, my brother screamed at me to pack my things and get out of the house. I knew I couldn't be in the house anymore, so that is what I did. I left. I stayed at my girlfriend's house, and I was so scared to explain the situation to her because I thought she'd think I was a dangerous person. I remember crying so hard, I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. And that is when it hit me. I couldn't believe what I'd just done to my mom, and I felt awful. After staying at my girlfriend's house for about 4 days, her and her family were going on a road trip, so I had to find a new place to stay. And I stayed at my friend's house, the basketball dude. I didn't mention this, but his parents were friends with my parents before we were born, so we have known each other our entire lives. Anyways, he didn't question anything and let me sleep in his bed. I remember on the 6th day of me being gone from home, I overheard my friend's mom talking to my mom, and I heard her say that she shouldn't let me stay because I was dangerous. I was so heartbroken hearing my mom say that about me. I had to clear my head, so I went out alone to play basketball. It made me feel at peace. After that phone call, I knew I couldn't stay, so I slept in the car one night. I remember freezing my nipples off. So that morning, I finally built up the courage to go home and confront her. The look she gave me literally broke my heart. I apologized. I gave her $3,000 for my bank account, and that was that. I was a terrible person. Fast forward a bit, I ended up getting a job with a few of my elementary friends at a furniture warehouse. I worked there full time for a bit, but it was perfect because I had a ton of time at home alone, so I could film YouTube videos. I ended up hurting my back trying to lift a heavy marble table, so I got put on mop duty. I'd literally walk around this giant warehouse with a mop in my hand, but it gave me a ton of time to plan even more YouTube videos. I eventually found a new program in school that sounded very interesting, so I went back to school to upgrade my grades so I could apply to get into a respiratory nursing program. After feeling like a failure, I had a new drive to do better. And I did. At this point, it was 2020 and something shocked the world. COVID-19. All of my classes got canceled and the world basically stopped spinning. I had 6 months to do nothing, so I posted a Minecraft video every single day. I'm not even kidding. I was grinding and I loved it. During this time, I also hung out with my new high school friends a ton and got to experience a lot. I also had to do my med school interview online, and that was so scary. This school only accepts 38 applicants into the program, and knowing how stupid I was, I thought there was no way I could get in. Well, fast forward a few months, I ended up getting around 3,000 subscribers on YouTube after like 250 videos posted. And then one morning, I got a phone call. They told me I had been accepted into med school. I literally cried tears of joy. I was so happy. I was so proud to tell my mom and my girlfriend what I achieved. There were 800 interviews, and out of 38 spots, I was chosen. That's a 5% chance. I finally felt like I wasn't a failure. Soon enough, I stopped making YouTube videos and focused 100% of my energy into school. I could not let go of this opportunity. I worked so hard and finished every course with over 90%. I was so proud of myself. My Adderall pills definitely helped a bit though. I still make the occasional bedwars videos here and there, but it was during the Christmas break of 2021 after my first semester finished when my YouTube dream finally came true. I got super sick of making bedwars and PvP videos, so I made this video called I'm Changing My YouTube Channel. And I told my fans that I need to switch up my content to what I want to do, and I don't care if you stay or not because I want to be happy with my content. All throughout 2013 to 2020, I basically only posted PvP videos on Minecraft, and I always wanted to do survival let's play videos like the idols I watched when I was younger. So right after that video, I went on to post my first 100 days in hardcore Minecraft video. And I remember that video got 1,000 views in the first day, and I thought I went viral. Well, over the next 10 days, it gained more and more views, hitting 158,000 views. This was my most viewed video ever over the past 10 years of making videos. But everything completely changed when I posted my 100 days on one block video. This video absolutely blew up and it gained like 10 million views within the first month. And I went from 3,000 subscribers to 700,000 in just a few weeks. I can't even explain my reaction and how I felt. I was so happy. I remember this video blew up so fast that YouTube actually took the video down. when it had 7 million views because they thought it was view-botted or fake views. Then the news started spreading to my old friends that some guy named Kevin that they went to high school with went viral on YouTube. I was getting so many messages if this aCookieGod guy was me, and I just denied it all. I never wanted anybody to know. I'm a pretty laid back and low-key guy, so I still don't tell many people who I am and what I do. My mom didn't grow up with technology, so they had no idea what I was doing, and at first did not believe any of it was true. Remember, I was still in school when all of this was happening. My healthcare program was very tough, but I had two options. Either I try to balance both things because both of them are important to me. I loved respiratory school, but becoming a YouTuber was also my childhood dream. Or I completely drop everything and go 100% into YouTube. I chose neither. It was kind of a mix between the two. I thought to myself, I absolutely could not let go of this insane opportunity I had on YouTube, but it hurt to leave my program because I also worked so hard to get here, and it was a big milestone in my life. By the time it was August, I had 1.5 million subscribers, and I already worked so hard to build the Cookie Army, so I dropped out. And I didn't fail a single class either. Win-win. My dad really did not want me to drop out though. He wanted me to get a degree so he can show off to his family back in China that I had a degree. But you've probably learned that I've been a rebel my entire life, and I kinda just do what I want to do. There's so much I can say about my YouTube journey, but some of you guys were probably along for the entire ride since the start of aCookieGod and the Cookie Army, so thank you again. Unfortunately though, my girlfriend and I hit a few bumps along the road. I was so focused on YouTube and chasing my dreams that YouTube became more of a priority than her, and she was a little upset with that. But that wasn't a problem for long. We were so in love and one another's best friends. I was so happy when she moved in with me at my parents' house so we could hang out even more, since I was usually too busy with my YouTube videos to ever leave the house. But all humans make mistakes, and as you've learned, I've made a ton throughout my life. After a few up and downs, A and I broke up in July of 2022. We dated for just under 6 years. We split up on good terms, and I still care deeply about her and pray she gets everything she wants in her life. For a whole year, my heart was broken. I felt no purpose in life. I was sad all the time, and I just couldn't be home anymore because everything reminded me of her, so I eventually moved out when I was 21. It was a tough few months being alone with my thoughts, but today I learned that time really does heal, and I'm happier than ever. I've come to realize that I'm happy we broke up. I learned so much about myself, experienced so much, and matured a ton. Anyways, my relationship with my mom has improved so much and has never been better. I love her so much, and I'll never hurt her again. I remember once A and I broke up, I started to hug my mom more, and the smile on her face every time I asked for a hug was priceless. My parents are getting old. They're pushing their 60s, and I've tried so many times to retire them, but you know them Asian parents. They're so hardworking and reluctant to retire. Everything is going great in my life now. However, just a few weeks ago, my family and I got hit with some terrible news. My mom called me on the 19th of December and told me she had been diagnosed with cancer. I could not believe it, and I just cried. She didn't want anybody to know, so I didn't tell anybody except a few very close friends. But she gave me the permission to tell you guys because she loves you. You've changed my family's lives, and we thought it was best to let the Cookie Army know. Thanks to you guys, we finally have enough money to where I can take my parents back to China so they can visit their families again. I'll be gone for another month. Paid for by the Cookie Army. My mom has always treated me with love, even though at times it didn't seem like it. All she wanted was the best for me. I've experienced a lot throughout my life. Lots of ups and downs like you probably have. But the most important thing is that you learn from your experiences. Your mistakes doesn't make you a bad person. Understand that time heals. Chase your dreams, and that you should probably go hug your mom. I continue to make my amends. I try to be a better person every day, and I really hope you do too. I'm literally just a normal, short Chinese dude with a microphone and a cool dream job that came true. Thank you for everything. There are only 2,000 signed posters for sale, so if you want to celebrate this incredible milestone with me, go check it out. And I hope you weren't too bored with my life story. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.